these things. It's just like it's our Twitch show.
It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like that though, does it? Yeah, I'm wondering when YouTube's different to Twitch in that, like, us just starting in conversation like this feels really odd, but people are used to it, so yeah, that's fine. There's some people waiting here. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to bid farewell to the now deceased Robert O'Neill. His soul has been claimed by Tony Khan. Yeah, man, this is going to be a triumphant night, I think. We're going to talk about AEW's weekend. We're going to... is there other stuff we're going to do?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We're going to talk about this rating that came out. This apparently is the big news. Have you heard about this, Joseph? Have you heard about the viewership and the rating? Do you know about this?
I've heard that Robert O'Neill just immediately had a heart attack at the information. And
he came on. He was on. He's going to be on the show potentially in like an hour. But he comes on backstage, and I just put him on screen. He's like, "Fuck you, Joseph." It's tremendous.
I've spent the last half an hour just tweeting about Robert O'Neill being owned. Which, I mean, it's one way to react to this kind of news. The thing with the rating stuff is, and like, you know me pretty well, Jeremy. Like, do I care? Not really. Do I think it can be actually funny? Yes, very much so. And when Tony Khan tweets stuff like, "Let's go Wade," I mean, I'm sorry.
Let's go Wade.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I've not got the restraint to not talk about that kind of grin. That's just good shit. And like, listen, if we're going to be sincere here, Jeremy, and actually talk about it briefly, because I don't think neither of us are well equipped to really analyze it, right? But it's a win for AEW, right, in terms of perception. That Rampage card was just a card. Like, it wasn't, frankly, Jeremy, this week's Rampage is more stacked than that one was. Because this week you got Andrade and Pac, Orange and Hobbs, Britt and Anna Jay. It's not live, so I get that. But what my point is, SmackDown was pretty strong on paper. So it's a win for them that they're close at all. Obviously, there's a lot of factors. Yes, Fox Sports 1 and all this stuff. I get it. But I thought they were going to get slaughtered in the demo, and they did not. So it's a triumph in that sense. Fair to say, if we're being analytical for a moment.
I definitely think it is. I think WWE, like, even doing the extra half hour was a mistake because it just brought more attention to Rampage. I think Tony Khan was very smart because that Rampage card was like Punk. All right, he's wrestled plenty of times. The ATT stuff is, was there that much intrigue in seeing Junior Dos Santos' first match? And that wasn't even head-to-head or anything. But I think he was smart in doing the buy-in because, like, Danielson and Suzuki got people talking. And it's like, oh, we can watch this, and then there's, the actual Rampage and everything. I think that is what kind of got people talking. Not more than SmackDown, because Tony Khan's not doing that if SmackDown isn't doing the extra half hour. But because WWE decided to go the extra half hour, Tony decided to put that on, and he just built this up into more than probably what it was, but something that the AEW fan base, I mean, how many times have we said it, heard it? Like, the AEW fan base, a lot of them are just like scorned WWE fans who have rallied against them. This was the perfect kind of rally for them. It's like, hey, WWE's going to try to counter program us with their shit. Come watch our shit.
Yeah, the identity of AEW is very much like, I mean, it's many things, and there's some very kind of idyllic, positive ones in there, but there is definitely one part of it. It's just like he refuses to kind of back down to WWE, right? And Tony Khan's not a traditional underdog. He's a very, very, very rich man. I'm not trying to frame him as Paulie Dangerously in 1997 here, but what I am saying is there is definitely something to the spirit of, oh, you're going to try and overlap Rampage. Cool, we're going to go a fight, and I think that's something that's actually a bigger deal than people realize. I agree with the general sentiment of, well, enjoy what you enjoy and watch the products, but there is a perception. Exactly right. There is a perception of just winners and losers, and there's been some wrestling promotions that just took L after L. AEW has generally avoided that. The NXT thing got them a lot of credit. I felt this one could be a step too far, but for the numbers that we've just seen there is like, I mean, I saw they had like 1,000 less in the demo, which is, this be very clear, this is rounding, so there's no, it's not a real thing. So it isn't an L at all for anyone that really gets the context. I can't analyze what that means for WWE's product because I don't watch. I actually heard good things about Friday's show. I don't know.
It was
right.
It was fine.
Yeah, but that's the kind of. I think if I was to say one thing, there is a distinct lack of hype to me about WWE. And I think Becky Lynch is a megastar, and so is the legit boss Sasha Banks, certainly. And I think Banks was in a system more kind of, more more aimed at making her the centerpiece, which could be what they're doing on SmackDown. I don't know. She could even be a bigger star. She's already one of the biggest stars in the industry, but I think there's a general sense of kind of staleness there. Do you not agree? I mean, I think Becky and Banks is a big match, but you got Charlotte in the picture, and it's like,
well, Charlotte is in the picture, but Bianca was
of course, and she's fresher. Friday. But just generally speaking, they got these four kind of titans of the division, and they are great talents to differing degrees. But it's like it doesn't feel fresh by any means, Banks and Becky was a huge match 2 years ago, and it's still a big match now. But you have to be careful.
Joseph, sorry.
Oh no.
Key ratings details for Friday: AEW Rampage beat SmackDown head-to-head 30 minutes in the coveted 18-49 demo, 320 to 285.
Okay, yeah, I think that kind of captures my point about maybe Becky and Banks. There's a sense to the audience that they've seen that stuff before, and that's not on the talent. They're mega stars, and if they were in a better system, they would be even more valuable than they already are. But I don't know, man. There's very little going on over there that feels must-see to me. I've got to be honest with you. And this is a big moment. Whether people like it or not, it's a big, big moment. So there you go. Thank you for that, Jeremy. It's good when we get to do the live news deal, right? We're on in a studio of some kind. I was going to say Fox, but Rob's not here. He'd be more at home on that.
I'm going to get back to. I got to update this article right fast.
Go ahead.
I did want to get to something before I remember it or before I forget it. Dave says, "Did you guys see 2 weeks ago he was putting on Talking Smack against Rampage?" Is it to cut into Rampage? Maybe. It's Talking Smack. No one really cares. They did this last year when the World Series Game 3 pushed SmackDown to Fox Sports 1. They did the live Talking Smack. So is this a shot at let's go head to head with AEW, cut into them? Probably a little bit, but there is actually precedent on this one. Going 30 minutes over like they did this past Friday, no real precedent there. So at least with this, honestly, that's probably what they should have done here is just put on Talking Smack to try to do something. And it's just like, hey, we did this last year. This is nothing new. We're on Fox Sports 1. We just like to put on a live edition of Talking Smack to get people to stick around. And if you beat Talking Smack, it's like, all right, well, fuck, who cares? Going 30 minutes over with Becky, Sasha, and then Brock and Roman and losing there, not a good look. Not a good look.
I don't know, man. I'm always very fearful and very concerned. I'm very hesitant to be the hyperbolic guy, and I'm never going to be the one that tells you Rampage is about to do 1.8 or Dynamite. I'm not that guy. Man, can you sense that shift in momentum and just the vibe of the industry? God, you can feel it. And I didn't know what the ratings looked like, but Friday I feel like AEW had a very strong night, which we can get into a little bit here with our review. But yeah, it's interesting, and as people talk about Matt Sydal and it is worth saying. I love Matt Sydal, but that was the biggest match on Rampage. CM Punk versus Matt Sydal. Yeah. They ain't the biggest guns in their arsenal, let me tell you. They could, if they wanted to, they could have done Punk and Bryan Danielson. Because there's other promotions that would have done that. So it's a fascinating time, and it's one that, frankly, I'm interested in. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. I think I am interested in it because it indicates, a change in the industry. And when those next TV deals come up, brother, you're going to have some interesting articles to write, I think. But there you go. Yeah. I think the big key is where does Roderick Strong go in all of this, and when we can kind of cross that bridge, we'll figure it out. No, there you go. Okay, so, Jeremy, I'm going to start doing the buy-in here. I know you got that update to do. As you know, the first half of the buy-in. First half of the buy-in's not going to have much to, I can solo that anyway, okay? I'll be fine. So, on YouTube, the AEW, the All Elite Fleet uploaded a video. It's called The Buy-In. 60,000 of us piled in there to get ready to watch that. And then they ended the stream.
That's how many drew, like live?
Initially, yes, and they ended the stream and started a new one when it hit the time it's supposed to start. Just end it. Yeah, it's good stuff. So they did that, and then we had to find the other stream, and there was much less than 60,000 people, but they got back up. They ended up at about 100 for Suzuki and Bryan. That was its peak. It was like 98 or something. Ty Conti, Santana Garrett. I haven't got notes for these matches because I wanted to have a conversation with the great Jeremy Lambert here, but this one is not one we need to talk about much.
What are you talking about? Me and Ty Conti are best friends now.
Huh? Did she like an article or something?
I tweeted after I watched this match. I said Ty Conti's my favorite wrestler because she just fucking kicks people in the face, and True. She retweeted it.
She did? Okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
So we're best friends, and this match rolled because Ty Conti just kicks people in the fucking face.
So this match was fun from a rib perspective because, as it mentioned in the chat, this was the one that beat AEW in the ratings, and it was a very bad match then. It was a less bad match now. Ty Conti is awesome. You are correct. She does kick people in the face. Santana Garrett, listen, bless her. I don't want to kick anyone while they're down, but how can I put this the most polite? I don't need to see her on the AEW roster full time. That's going to be my polite analysis of this. I don't know. I've never really got it. People have told me good things, so maybe I'm being unfair. I didn't think she was particularly impressive here, unfortunately. I don't know, Jeremy. Am I being mean?
Not a fan of Santana Garrett. I didn't see much in her, kind of throughout the years, and then she got on AEW. Who'd she wrestle on Dark? Diamante?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
It's like they got enough women more talented who can be in this spot. I think she'll be fine as somebody like on Dark or something. It was clearly she was in this spot as the rib for NXT, the NXT match a couple years ago, which, fine use of her.
That rolls. Bob Fish, Lee Moriarty. Nice match here. Bob Fish, I think, has already proved himself to be a kind of a neat acquisition for AEW. Has his own flavor and his own style. I don't think he's and honestly, I thought this way in his prime. He's not a blow-away in ring guy to me, but he's just really sound and solid, and he has this physicality, and the MMA stuff's neat. Moriarty, I think, is a future world champ. I love how just kind of unique his style is. He stands out. He's someone that, and I don't say this to be a hater, as the kids call them, Jeremy, but he's someone that, like, the PC would actively ruin because they would take away all of these little chinks and quirks that he's added to his game, and just the different things he does. I thought Bobby Fish did a really nice job of showcasing him while keeping himself steady. Like, by the end, so the start of the match, they're chanting for Bobby Fish because I guess, he was in those video, he's recognizable. By the end of it, they were chanting for Moriarty some. And it's like, that's what the role of a Bobby Fish is, really. He spotlighted a younger guy. He went over because he kind of had to. He was wrestling Bryan in the main event the next night. But I like to see this be a prolonged story on the C shows. I think I'd like to see a deal where maybe even they team a little, but a thing where Lee is kind of, as he's trying to fight for his first win and trying to get comfortable on this roster, he has Bobby Fish as a kind of measuring stick as a veteran, and you can kind of run it back a couple of times. I mean, that could be fun. Obviously, you eventually have Lee beat him emphatically and move on, but Bobby Fish is a nice, but a lot of people made the Matt Sydal comparison. He's a good one. He isn't Matt Sydal, but on the heel side of things, he gives you that kind of similar player coach role. Good little match here, right, Jeremy?
I enjoyed it. I really, really like Lee. You can definitely tell he's, like you said, future world champ. There's so many guys in line for that, though, that it's tough for me to even brand him as a future world champ because there are really so many guys in line for that. But he certainly has all the tools. And Fish was always going to win this match. This was a nice spot for him. I've said it since Fish has kind of been back on this independent run. Just looks renewed in this spot, and he's the kind of guy who you could just go out there, have these good television matches. The other guys are going to look good. He's going to look good. And down the line, you can certainly beat him. He can be that stepping stone guy for the people like a Garcia and like Moriarty. I wouldn't be shocked if Daniel Garcia beats Bobby Fish in the next month or so, because Garcia needs some type of decent win, I feel like, and Fish is kind of that stepping stone win of okay, you beat a good veteran who's been on television, who's hung with Danielson, hung with Guevara, beating Moriarty. I could see Fish like losing to a guy like Daniel Garcia in very short order.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fun match too. I agree with that. I think the only guy Garcia's beat on the roster, ironically, is Matt Sydal.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? I mean, other than that, it's been local guys. But I agree with you. I think
he beat. I'll look it up. I could have sworn it was somebody else, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm gonna look up.
Because I know he beat Sydal on the Thursday night elevation. They just threw in randomly. Yeah, I think Garcia would be nice to work here, like a Dynamite win in there for him. You know, just a little one. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just a nice little win.
He wasn't on the roster at the time, and I was going to say though he did beat Moriarty.
He did, yes.
Yes, yeah. That was the match a very good match I was thinking of, and I didn't want to throw. And same with again, wasn't on the roster at the time. I don't think so. Yeah, August 4th. Yeah, Fuego. He beat Fuego as well.
Yeah. Well then, yeah, Fuego's. Yeah, he wasn't. He signed on the.
He signed first at Rampage, which was the 13th.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but point stands, right? Like, yeah, I absolutely agree with what you were saying. Main event of the buy-in. Let's be honest, the main event of the show. Bless CM Punk. He had a great match for Sydal, but this was what we really wanted to see on Friday. Bryan Danielson, Minoru Suzuki, almost 20 minutes, Jeremy, of something that at times felt like more than just a professional wrestling match, right? This sort of, I don't know, there was a weird sense of sort of celebration to this whole thing. I mean, it was violent, it was physical, and it was brutal, but there was something inherently kind of triumphant and glorious about it, because it was like Suzuki's done 3 matches in AEW now, and the Moxley stuff is cool, but like this felt like not just Suzuki kind of at home, but it was honestly as good as I've seen Suzuki look in a few years. He looked inspired. He looked fired up to be in there with Bryan. And we knew Bryan was going to be fired up. This, goes without saying. But you had it all in there. Like, Suzuki actually did the mat wrestling with Bryan, which he doesn't always do nowadays. You had this story where Bryan kind of out-wrestled him a couple of times. Suzuki was like, oh, fuck this. Try and chop me. And I said on the pre-show, Jeremy, I was like, Bryan's going to take a face plant when he gets hit by a forearm. I knew he was going to do that because Bryan weaponizes how much we all worry about his health. So as soon as Suzuki went for him, he face planted. And the place came up huge. They went back and forth. They even did the big modern finish and stretch, right, with all of the reversals and the counters, and it looked awesome. All of it looked awesome, but it was very much. It felt like a true kind of encapsulation of who Minoru Suzuki is. For those that haven't seen it or didn't get it before, that was him at his like most glorious. And Bryan Danielson, what is there left to say about that dude? I mean, he said he's got 3 years, right? You're looking at this as the last 3 years. He's just like, he feels like the safest bet ever to make himself the greatest wrestler ever by the end of that. Like,
I already think he's there.
Of course. But consensus, he wrestled his first match for AEW less than a month ago.
Right.
Look at already what he's done to add to that legacy. Like, and it looks like he's going to wrestle at the Universal Studio. This guy's he's going, man. He's full bore. He's back. So this match, it was magical. What a time, Jeremy. This was great, huh?
Maybe I was being hyperbolic when I said this was my match of the year and the greatest match of all time. Certainly on the latter comment. But this is just what I love about professional wrestling. It's just kind of 2 guys going in there. They make it look like a fight. They beat the shit out of each other, and they have fun doing it. I know the exchange of like, hey, let me stand here and just like chop me, kick me, forearm me as hard as you can. Like, isn't like, you shouldn't want to do that. If you're a wrestler, you should be about like defense and winning without getting hit. Like that's what you're taught in a fight, right? Fighters don't go in there and like, hey, let's have a slugfest. But like for pro wrestling to do that, I think it's the coolest thing in the world. It's just like, fucking kick me, and I'm gonna take your best shot, and I'm gonna come back with my best shot. Dude, the way he sold that forearm was just like A-class master level stuff. Like, because everyone's always worried about him. He takes that. It's like, oh, there's a concussion. It's like, no, this guy's just really, really good. Absolutely love this match. I watched it on mute the first time because I was doing other things, and I was just kind of like, I was paying attention to it, but I was listening to something else. And like, I love the match on mute. And then I turn turned on the volume with the announcing and the crowd and everything, and like it just takes it to a whole other level. But it was like I'm gonna remember this match when it comes down to my favorite match of the year. It will be up there for me. Yeah. It will certainly be up there for me. But it's everything I love about wrestling. Danielson rules, Suzuki rules, which is great.
Yeah, I actually think, I don't know if it's the match of the year, but I don't think it's hyperbolic to have that in the conversation, you know? Now, it won't be the kind of, I'd imagine there are some people that didn't get it because they lack context on who Suzuki is and like all of the, because the thing about the Suzuki.
Goldberg.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing about the Suzuki strike stuff is, like, there is a character and story to it, right? Like, I know you're aware of that, but like, it's basically, how do I put this? He kind of just enjoys the violence more than anything else. Like, he doesn't Danielson, really, he's not chasing quick pins. Like, he doesn't really give a shit. Like, he just wants to kind of maul you and wants to see how much you can take, basically.
Yeah, and Danielson plays into that because like, we know he wants to. Essentially, like it's a respect thing for both guys. Like Suzuki is like, I'm gonna hit you as hard as you can. You got to earn my respect by firing back at me with what you have. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Danielson is the perfect guy for that because he welcomes those types of challenges. So yeah, you can, if you look at it and you don't quite get the Suzuki character or just really strong style in general, you're like, okay, why are you going to just let this man hit you?
Yes.
But if you understand all that, then it's like, all right, well, this makes sense for the story they're trying to tell.
Yeah, because there was also this element of Bryan kind of, and I thought Ricky Starks did a really good job. He was great on commentary.
Yeah, he really was.
I think he's been good in general, but without a fourth man, he was better than, because we've blessed Jericho, but you have to really shout a lot to get over him, right? Like him and Taz, it was calm. I liked it. But there was also this element of like Bryan like knowing better and trying to keep it as like a wrestling match, but then inevitably he would find himself. And in the end, they went full strike exchange, did like 15 straight forearms. But Bryan bested him even in that field, right? Hit him with the big knee and went over. It was just epic. What a damn thrill this was, man. This was, if a wrestling war upsets you because of the tribalism and all that whole shit, like that's fair enough. I get Twitter's toxic, but if we're being honest with each other, like we wouldn't have got this match under these circumstances at all if it wasn't for SmackDown, like doing the weird half hour. Like, let's be real about it. That's, sometimes this stuff helps in, sometimes it makes for bad hot shotting. That is what it is. But this wasn't that. This was basically a chance to do an outlier. It wasn't a match that was ever going to need an angle, so just do the match. They did it. It was, it was extraordinary. It was incredible. Now, Jeremy, CM Punk and Matt Sydal were two of the guys on the roster most well-served, like most well-suited to following that match. Because I was exhausted after Suzuki and Bryan. I was ready to just leave it. Like, I was like, that was perfect. I don't even need any more wrestling. And, man, Punk and Sydal, like, took their time and they eased into this match and they told their own story and it ruled. It was tremendous. Just to respond, and I absolutely think there's a chance that they've done the Suzuki-Bryan match, but I guess the difference is the YouTube thing enhanced this match, I thought, because it felt so novel and weird, and it was a clean slate. There was no ad breaks. It was like they had a half an hour left of the show, and it's like, I don't know if they're going to do the whole half an hour, if they're going to do 20 minutes and then a 10-minute. It was just weird. It didn't have a TV format. I mean, they would have done the match eventually, and it was different, I guess is what I'm saying.
I did not watch anything from Friday live. Right. So I went back. The first thing I watched Saturday morning was Danielson Suzuki. And, I'm scrolling and it's like the 30-minute mark or so of the video that it starts. And I'm like, oh, this is going to go a half hour or whatever. And I imagine watching live, like you're like, oh, this is going to go a half hour.
Yeah.
But there is that novelty of like, is it going to go to the top? Is it going to go to, because they ran like a big like video package in the final 10 minutes or whatever, right? As I watched that stuff. But yeah, I can definitely, if you were watching it live, see like, oh, we don't know how long it's going to last. Just being on YouTube, no commercial breaks and everything. It's obviously very accessible to fans across the world. Like it's almost up to 1 million views right now, that video. You said there was 60,000 people, just waiting for it. Yeah. I don't know what the live number ended up creeping once Danielson.
It got to 98,000, I believe. I want to say. I believe that was the peak. Yeah.
There you go. It worked. It definitely worked. As far as Seidel and Punk goes, I didn't have the come down from Suzuki and Danielson because I watched a lot of this stuff out of order. But go ahead on the match and how you thought it worked well as a following to Danielson and Suzuki.
Well, I just think Punk, I think he's enhancing his legacy so much with how he's working these matches. I mean, we kind of talked about, well, in ring, he's not an athletic guy that requires, he's going to use his brain in there. That's always what he did. And we were kind of confident he could adjust. I just think he's been great bell to bell thus far, man. Yeah. And, the first match was against the Daredevil High Flyer. The second match was against the literal powerhouse. Third match was against the sort of prodigy technician in Garcia. And then now he wrestled the veteran, the first true peer of his that he wrestled back, over 15 years ago. And if you notice, in all of the first 3 matches he had, there was all these kind of little veteran tricks that Punk would use. Or his opponent would get a little arrogant and Punk would cut him off, None of that happened here because Seidel knows all of those tricks too. Punk cut, he chopped down the leg in like 2 of those 3 matches. Seidel had these low kicks that he was hitting Punk with, and like Punk was selling so great. Seidel didn't make any mistake until the big crucifix deal at the end, and Punk made him pay for that one error. It appeared to me that Punk wanted to frame this as though this was his toughest challenge because it was the first guy that kind of knew him and wasn't going to get fooled by the moment, wasn't going to make a mistake. He made one and he paid the price for it. Matt Seidel is honestly probably the most underrated wrestler in the world. If we're being really like, and I don't know how that changes because if I'm being honest, I don't think his ceiling is much higher than this. I don't say that as a diss. I just it's an all-star roster. What are you going to do, right? But
yeah,
in terms of safe bets, as much as I didn't love the Andrade match, which I don't think was on Matt, I think Andrade was just a little off that night, a little rusty. He's incredible. His timing, his technique, his strikes are great. He's incredible, man. He's so versatile too. This match was really, really good. After rewatching it, I don't think it was as good as the Garcia match, but I would have it second on my CM Punk AEW Power rankings thus far. It's close with Darby Allin, very close.
I'd probably give the edge to Darby, probably because I was there and
fair. That's very fair.
It was, it's tough to beat that being live and everything. And I really like that Darby match. I don't think I can quite put Seidel over that. I'd even have to rewatch the Garcia match to compare it with Darby because being there live, it's obviously a different experience. I really enjoyed this match though. You mentioned Starks on commentary earlier. Another one where he was just great in talking about the history between both men and how they had each other scouted. I love Ricky on commentary because it feels like, one, he's definitely done his homework on this stuff. 2, it feels like he is scouting when he's watching. And I don't remember if it was this match or something else, but he will point out things of that was nice. I'll have to remember that one type of thing. It feels like he's watching these and doing scouting reports while he's on commentary, which I think is very smart because at some point he's hopefully going to wrestle all of these men. So you can point back to these commentary stints of remember when Ricky did commentary and got a little, could kind of see what was going on with these men.
That would be neat. Yeah. Because someone would notice it too. You know that, right? Someone would tweet that shit immediately, a clip of him saying it and then him doing it. Yeah.
Right. So I thought Ricky was brilliant on commentary throughout this entire stint. As far as Punk and Seidel match, they worked a very good match. Punk, I think we both had some reservations when he came in of all right, what's he going to be and everything. I still want a little bit more than the happy-go-lucky Phil. I think eventually they will get there. Right now, this man is going out there. He's working different wrestlers. He's working different styles in each match, and he's clearly motivated and clearly has something to prove in each match. So, bless him for it because he's done great work in all of these matches.
I do want to actually touch on that point you made about Punk. So there's a lot of conversation about his usage and whether it's, it's the correct thing. So here's what I'll say about that. I don't think people are wrong to say that this is not the most money way to start a CM Punk comeback. If you wanted to maximize the money in CM Punk straight away, you would have put him in a high angle. I agree with that completely. I'm not saying that's wrong. What I think people miss, not you necessarily, but people that are completely dismissing it, is Punk intends to be around for the long haul,
Yeah.
And he wants the story to be that he's built himself the confidence and the he's got the practice behind him that he believes he's the best in the world again. And that's when I think you're going to see him clash with Kenny Omega. That's when you're going to see him get back in there with Bryan. That's when you're going to see him there with Moxley, Hangman, all of the above. Again, I don't think it's wrong. It's definitely not wrong to want to see him sink his teeth into an angle. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I also don't think it's wrong that people are like, well, maybe you shouldn't just be wrestling matches. However, I do think they're doing a good job of making the story Punk is back, and like the story is just a narrative about Punk, and these foes are coming and going, like it's not for everyone. And I agree with you that it will be really fun when Punk gets a true conflict to kind of dive into. But for now, I do think the audience is more into it than some are giving credit for. Again, not you. But, like, people still love him, and some are pretending that ain't the case, and it's weird, right? Like, he gets a mega reaction every week.
Do I want more with him, like, potentially going heel and everything and, like, actual kind of feud? Like, the Team Taz stuff was really the only bit of it. And I think if that eventually leads to the Ricky match, then, it's kind of a long-term play there. But do I want more in that sense? Yes, because I think he's great on promos, and I don't need the kind of, hey, I'm happy to be here. Let's introduce the card for the night type of thing. And like, let me see who I can test myself against tonight. It's like, okay, because I know how good he is on promos, and like once he can really sink his teeth into like an actual feud, it's going to be some fire. That said, they brought in Danielson more or less the same time. And Danielson's kind of doing that. Let me go after these top guys and kick heads in. And let me face Omega. Let me face the Bucks. Let me face Fish. Now he's facing Suzuki. So that's like, and now Danielson's in the tournament, right? And we all kind of, based on how this bracket is shaping out, probably going to be in the finals of this tournament. So like, that's kind of where Danielson is. So it would have been tough to like stick both of them in that spot, because you also, and this was what a lot of people, myself included, was worried about with the Hangman story of, are these guys going to overshadow Hangman? And with this being the case, with Punk taking a step back and not being in the world title picture, there's that one less person to overshadow Hangman. And obviously Hangman, he came in, got the big reaction and everything. If Punk had been higher elevated, if he'd been in that world title feud as well, would that have lessened Hangman? They took that off the table. And I think that was very smart to take that off the table for that. Yeah. So I can't wait until he does sink his teeth into something. Do I have a problem with what they've done so far? Absolutely not.
Right. I think, that's an interesting conversation, because there is some people are doing it too black and white, like there is a middle ground. I think the core point that you were making there, Jeremy, and again, I don't want to talk out of turn here, but I think what we're getting at is maybe it's good to sign two of the best wrestlers of the last 20 years, and it's actually a luxury to be able to just kind of split duties between them. And you go, well, Brian, you could wrestle Kenny Omega for half an hour, but Punk, do you want to just pick guys? Hobbs? Okay, fine. I mean, they're in a very, very, very fortunate position in that regard. So, yeah, I think you're spot on. Now, 6-man main event, Jeremy. The Junior Dos Santos and the Men of the Year.
Over, Bunny.
Oh, my bad. We actually talked about this match for 20 minutes on that wasn't actually intended by me. Ruby Soho, the Bunny. This match went like longer than I expected it to.
Yeah.
I think I'm on an island with this, but I think the Bunny's like actually kind of fun. I wish he was legitimately good in this match. Ruby's selling is great, and the Bunny is good at that also. It's not a Mac Classic by any means, but I thought it was pretty obvious that Ruby's like in-ring rust was slowly going away. She looked a lot more confident and comfortable here, which I think was also due to her dynamic with the Bunny, who she's familiar with and stuff. Like, I think you sensed, I don't know, when she was hitting the ropes and stuff, there was a level of assuredness that I hadn't seen before in AEW. Just a little bit of a hitch in her step that wasn't there. Here it was. I initially was like, whoa, why did she have to roll out the Bunny to beat her? And then Penelope came out and I was like, that works, so I think this women's division stuff's difficult because I do not want to give them like a victory lap for doing the bare minimum. But I do think they've done a better job since Rampage has come around of like making more of the women consistently visible on TV, which is not, I'm not here to tell you that's like a grand achievement by any means. But I do think it's a real thing. And I'm glad that whether people like the Bunny and Penelope stuff or not, I'm glad they're still going to be on TV after that Ty Joe feud, because For too long, women would be doing a feud and then they'll just vanish at the end of it. That isn't going to be the case here, obviously. We're going to get Penelope and Ruby at some point. But as for this match, I thought it was fine, pretty good. Ruby's most sort of smooth performance yet, which is encouraging. Jeremy, what did you think?
I'm with you on Ruby. She looks, and we touched on this really since the moment she signed, because she hadn't wrestled in forever. And when she did wrestle, it was maybe tag team matches or 3-minute matches. The more in ring time she gets, the more comfortable she gets. And the tournament's going to start. The bracket's being revealed this week, right? So the tournament's going to start pretty soon. I don't know how far she's going to go in the tournament. I imagine she'll get at least out of the first round. She may even be a finalist. I know. I think some people in our distraction universe believe she is going to be the first champion. So if she does get to the finals, I think by the end of that finals, if they give the proper time that it deserves, then it could be a really good match. And it depends on the opponent, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
But it could definitely be a strong match, because Ruby, she was legitimately one of the best in WWE. She just didn't get a lot of time to really prove that. And now that she's kind of getting her feet back under her, I think we're going to see a really good run from Ruby. And Bunny, she's improved a lot. I didn't really have much time for her to when all of this started, but she's improved a lot. I like her in this role with Penelope. It's fine stuff, and they're getting the women on television, which is what matters here. They're getting some stories, which is good. We that's what we want. We want stories out of the women. So I thought this match served its purpose.
Can you put Cody's comment on the screen, please, Jeremy?
Bunny Ruby tied the demo with Roman Brock. Poor Roman may stay off Twitter now. I was actually looking at these numbers while I was talking, and also while you were talking. So the full quarters are out. WWE did better viewership, total, than
cowards.
Rampage. Yeah. The full total numbers were better for WWE, but the quarter numbers were in the demo. Rampage did better across the board on that. SmackDown beat them at the very end, the final quarter. So I guess that would have been Ruby. So it does look like the end of Lesnar and Roman just edged out Ruby and Bunny.
I disagree. I just tweeted the Bunny greater than Brock Lesnar. Disagree.
Cody says that was via Meltzer. So based on the numbers that Brandon has, Brandon Thurston, WrestleNomics, it was 293 for SmackDown and 290 for Rampage in that final 10:15 to 10:30 quarter. If you look at the 18 to 34, it was 108 for Rampage and 96 for SmackDown. So if you look at 18 to 34, Rampage did win that total viewership number. But for 18 to 49, SmackDown edged by 3,000 viewers.
So what you're saying is AEW is watched by the young, the rich, and the educated? Is that what you're saying? That's what you said, right?
Yeah, basically.
Someone's going to take that seriously. It's going to be a shame. Yeah. Okay. Main event, JDS, Men of the Year versus the Inner Circle, Jake Hager, Chris Jericho, and Sammy Guevara. This is an angle that I have consistently disliked. The content of the promos is filth. Miami treated this as though it was, Brett and Shawn, WrestleMania 12. He treated this as though it was Austin Rock, WrestleMania 17. Miami was fired up for this, man. And listen, bless Chris Jericho. His stuff these days isn't the most critically acclaimed. For sometimes, due to right reasons, sometimes you're wrong, I don't know. But he gets shit over, man. Chris Jericho, oh no.
I'm sorry. This Tony Khan tweet.
What happened? Can you put it on the screen as a
I can screenshot it and I'll put it on the screen.
Okay. I'm gonna just put Chris Jericho over here while you do this before. Chris Jericho gets stuff over, man. Bless his heart. He don't look too great a lot of the time, both in terms of physically and his actual work itself. He looks, there's there's a clear decline, I think, at this point that he'd avoided for a long time, which was admirable. It's not Oh my god, that's a real tweet.
That's a real. I just screenshotted it.
That's some forum shit, bro. That's like
Aaron Ravel tweeted WWE got a big victory over AEW even after SmackDown got moved to Fox Sports 1. And Tony Khan says, here's a story nobody leaked to you over the weekend, but I'll give you right now, dog.
Dog.
AEW got a big victory over WWE after WWE aggressively extended their Friday show 30 minutes and loaded it up head-to-head, 10 to 10:30 versus Rampage. Rampage winning 328 to 285. That's a real tweet, Joseph. He said, I'll give you right now, dog.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. Tony's out of his mind right now. He's going crazy. That's like a shit post. That's incredible. Yeah, Chris Jericho's over. Sammy Guevara's hot tag is awesome. Big props to Scorpio Sky, who is just so good in ring. So good, man. And I talked about this a little bit on the Late Night Grin, latenightgrin.com. Scorpio is actually one of those, like, he's brought this up before and he's 100% correct. It's a disservice to Scorpio Sky when people just call him like a great athlete in ring. His timing and the mechanics of his work and the fundamentals are so good, man. Like, credit to him for just always bringing his A game belt to belt. He was awesome here. I love the way he fed Sammy's hot tag. Everything he did here was perfect. Junior Dos Santos tried hard. Strikes were interesting. He took a table bump, which God bless.
Yeah.
And Jake Hager was there. This match way over delivered, Dan. All seriously, I thought this was kind of a blast. Like, this was really fun TV. I thought, even though I don't care about it, and the next night they immediately lost me, they got me back for this one night. So this was fun, Jeremy. I don't know, maybe I'm being generous, but I did enjoy this 6-man tag on the Rampage.
Crowd was certainly into it. Didn't Dan Lambert in his promo? Just I'm over all of this. Crowd loved it. Everyone worked hard. Dos Santos was. It didn't look too out of his element. Like, he's a big UFC heavyweight. He can kind of do some things and moves fairly decent. He took a table bump. Bless the man for that. What did they miss when they went to the outside? The crowd was going crazy.
Sammy did like a springboard dive to the floor.
Just completely missed it. I rewound it. I was like, did Hager and Dos Santos do something cool that I missed? And then, not great on that miss. The finish, I thought the finish was good, except for, like you said, like, they're just gonna run this back apparently in a 5-on-5 match, and I don't know about that. I'm kind of over this. Like, they've done 2 matches now. I wish Jericho would, because we know his fingerprints is on a lot of this stuff. Like, you gotta know when to cut this stuff off. Like, the orange thing went 3 matches. The MJF thing went 3 matches.
You're right.
It's going to go 3 matches. It's like, okay, we don't need to do 3 matches each time where it's pretty much the same version of each match. And the orange thing kind of made sense because, all right, let's have a winner, even though I know what was that gimmick called? The fruit punch match. I know that
Mimosa Mayhem.
Okay, that's what it was called. I know that wasn't for everybody. The MJF thing definitely didn't need the 3rd match. And then this, like, I don't know why we need a 3rd. The Inner Circle thing too. They did Blood and Guts and then they did Stadium Stampede. It's just some of the Jericho stuff, little long for me. And this one, it seems like it's going to be the same thing. But hey, bless Jericho. He gets all of this shit over and the crowd still loves it.
Do you think Tom Lawler is going to be on Team ATT at Full Gear?
Does he train at ATT?
I mean, it doesn't matter, right? Who gives a shit?
It doesn't, but I do think that maybe they want to keep guys who are there. So we think it's going to be Men of the Year and Junior. I would not be shocked if Paige Van Zandt is part of this. I really wouldn't. I know they like to stay away from that stuff, but considering she's a UFC fighter, former UFC fighter and everything, like, I would not be shocked if she was just kind of in there and they mix that up a little bit. I don't know who kind of before. I don't think Masvidal is going to be part of it because he's got an actual fight coming up in December. I don't think they want to, like, he can go out there and do some flying knees. They don't want this man like taking bumps and stuff like that. Who else is King Mo? He's ATT and he's got the wrestling background. So,
oh man,
I think like he's technically signed to MLW, but like you know how that stuff works.
I like King Mo, but I don't know. That wrestling transition thing, I don't think ever quite worked the way people thought it was going to.
I don't think it did either. I'm trying to see like who some of their other fighters are that might. Amanda Nunes, I think she's gonna be in there. Arlovsky's been on television. He just fought too, right?
Yeah, that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean Arlovsky's been on TV. Bobby Lashley, think he's gonna show up?
I mean, that would be awesome. Bob Lashley just comes and just kills Chris Jericho. I'd pop huge for that.
I'm just looking at their roster to see who else like in the AEW world could show up and like be aligned with these guys.
You could turn Hager and then make it an 8-man.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't think you'll do because it basically writes Hager out of the writes him out of the promotion, right? Because then what does he do? But I mean, that may be why I'm pitching it. I don't know. It's not one that when I saw the Tom Lawler thing, I was just like, well, that'd be fun because I think Tom's a guy that could be a nice addition. Do they need him? No. Do they need anyone? No. But like, yeah, it'd be interesting.
So Yoel Romero, Tyron Woodley.
Yoel Romero would be a hilarious professional wrestler. His promos alone would be worth it. But the problem is, like, how big of a... What's the kind of drawing power of... even Junior DeSantos. Like, I like Junior. He was a great fighter, but what's the drawing power of these guys,
Are they looking for, like, a drawing power guy?
Probably not.
Looking for guys to... Dustin Poirier? I mean, look, if you can get Dustin Poirier...
Yeah, he's a big star, yeah.
Yeah, and do something, then you might be onto something.
He would probably look so tiny in a wrestling ring, wouldn't he?
He certainly would. Would.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the thing with this angle that I've always just kind of found bizarre is like obviously the star involved is Masvidal, but he's not going to be able to wrestle. Yeah. But they know he has to be there to make it's just a weird one. Junior DeSantos is not a big star either, like not anymore anyway. He was obviously the UFC heavyweight champ. I don't mean to dismiss him, but yeah, whatever. They'll figure it out. They probably won't actually. It'll probably just be some dude. Anyway, Rampage was good, right, Jeremy? Good show?
Yes. I do want to address a couple of things in the chat, and I don't know if Ron Patel is still here, but he had a lot of questions. We're not on Twitch anymore with the Monday show because we got our own channel. I bullied Sean Ross Sapp into giving us our own channel. So a lot of the stuff that Joseph and I would do as far as like our talking and sort of podcast shows are now going to be on this YouTube channel. It is the former Fightful MMA channel. It is not monetized for at least another 30 days because there was a lack of original content on it. So monetization got pulled. There will be plenty of original content from us. I'm already uploading the game streams from Twitch. So I've already posted a couple of those. I'm hopefully going to have all of those by the end of the week kind of caught up there. We will continue to do this Monday show, 5 Eastern, where we review kind of the weekend that was, or if there was nothing over the weekend, we'll kind of have Joseph did the My Match Monday, so we'll do that. We have a Ring of Honor kind of look back with O'Neal on the show. We have Dynamite pre-show on the channel coming up, and what else do we have, Joseph?
Distraction post show.
Yes, the Distraction post show that'll now be on here instead of Twitch, and some other stuff that we're sort of kind of brainstorming. And you just never know. I might want to just do an NBA podcast with Andrew and SP3, and we'll just throw that on here, and just some other under the radar original, but no, never good content. We never make good content, but
the content fucking sucks. But brand new. Jeremy, I'm going to ask you this could get us sued. I don't know.
Oh no.
Could you download the video that Big Money Matt has seemingly just posted to his Twitter account, where he appears to be taking victory of that? And can you play that, like in front of our faces? Will we get sued by Matt Hardy for that?
I don't think so, but
because his lawyers are probably better than ours. He's Big Money Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that will be something we'll do if Jeremy could. I don't know how easy that is to do, Jeremy, but just
it's very simple. It's just going to take me a minute or two.
Okay, that's fine. I'll because it appears that he has taken a victory lap here on social media. Many people text this to me. So, all right, let's do this start with the Dynamite chatter here. Saturday Night Dynamite. Malachi Black, Dante Martin.
Well, Joseph, it's not going to take me that long.
Okay, should we just wait then? Should we stop?
Yeah, before you're going to jump into a Dynamite review, I'm just going to go ahead and play this because it's uploading now. It's not that large of a file, so it should be done.
Hope it's funny after we've done this.
I hope so too.
That'd be good.
Yeah. All right, here we go, everybody. Don't know what this is, but here we go.
That smells like big money to me. Give them hell, TK!
Oh, you're going to use that on the grin, aren't you?
Okay, run that back.
That smells like big money to me. Give them hell, TK!
The man was flaring his nostrils. God bless. Oh, hell, big money, man. Okay, Saturday Night Dynamite. Dante Martin, Malachi Black. Malachi Black has been a complete success overall, and the presentation has been perfect, almost perfect at least. The matches thus far, due to circumstance more than anything else, haven't wowed me. This was my favorite so far for Malachi and AEW. I thought this was really, really good. He was selfless. He shined Dante up, but he still kept the aura and stayed being awesome Malachi Black. So that was cool. Dante is he's electric bell to bell, brother. That dude works with a zip and an excitement that's just different, completely different. Really good match, like the little nod afterwards. I'm intrigued if we're going to see some sort of double turn action on Saturday with Code Man, or it's just a case of Malachi showing some respect to a prodigy and a guy that's going to be in AEW for 20 years, which he could be. Great reaction from Leo Rush on the finish also. But I like that Malachi. So I like that when Malachi hits the finish, he just doesn't even rush to the pin. He's like, that's it, it's finished. Let me just. Yeah. I wish he would do the foot on the chest thing, but I get he wants to keep that for Cody's that first match. I understand, but it was a really good match. I liked it a lot. Strong opener. What about you, Jeremy?
I enjoyed the match. Dante, he's tremendous. I love Leo Rush as a manager and sort of a mouthpiece for Dante as well. And as we found out later, they're gonna be a tag team while Darius is out, which will be awesome. And Malachi, he's not moving away from the Cody feud. I was glad to see him in there with someone that's not involved in the Codyverse and someone who can kind of keep up with that speed and striking of his and just throw a different kind of style at him. Yeah. I thought that worked very well. This is a great opener. I enjoyed this match, and I haven't loved fully a lot of the Malachi stuff. Maybe it's because it is kind of been involved in the Codyverse kind of stuff. This was one of those matches where all right, you kind of got me with this one. I love the little nod of respect at the end. I think we all kind of know Dante is going to be that one of the top guys in the future for them.
Yeah, I agree completely. And he's probably ahead of schedule, honestly, based on just the way this year has gone. And unfortunately, his brother's injury, obviously, which sucks. They're going to be a team again as soon as he's back, which is going to be awesome. But it's give you a sight of him as a singles. So there you go. I don't have the live report here. The only segment I intend to talk about is the Hangman one. Is there any others I'm missing, Jeremy, before we go any further? Is there any other non-wrestling segments? Miro and Hangman, is that it? That we really need to talk about,
I don't know. I don't remember it fully, but I would imagine that's correct.
Would it give the chat bring
the inner circle stuff?
Which we don't need to talk about.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, definitely don't need to talk about that. Chat, if you think about saying that wasn't in ring, then remind me and we'll talk about. Brother, this FTR piece of business with the Lucha Bros. I did a pretty detailed analysis of this on Twitter, on Twitch. Where Twitch? No, it's Patreon. Whatever the fuck it's called. The Late Night Green. And this was hilarious because it was an old school wrestling angle, but they knew they couldn't do it how that angle is done. So as I said on there, you would usually with this kind of angle, FTR would win and then take the masks off, and it'd be like, man, they fooled them, you know. But that wasn't the plan here. So instead, they just had the mask just came off, and they just had a match for 5 minutes and did the finish. Which the reason you had to do that was because, frankly, the crowd wanted, they wanted a damn good match for this spot, and that's what they got. The work we got here was awesome, man. These two teams, obviously, they give you like a teaser of what they're going to do at Full Gear, I'm assuming, and it rocked. This was interesting. I'm assuming this was very divisive, and I think there's a lot of people just didn't get it, which I understand. It's kind of weird and quirky old school wrestling, but I thought it was funny, and it left me very much excited for a 25-minute tag title match between these two teams, which I think was the actual purpose. Great finish. Dax's timing on the belt shot was awesome. So, yeah, I liked it a lot, Jeremy. What about you?
I loved that CM Punk was like, it's clearly FTR, right?
Yes.
What are we doing here?
But the crowd didn't know. That's the thing that I get everyone being like, well, it was obvious, but like the live crowd, which as Punk said, maybe that's an indictment on Miami. Brother, they popped huge for the FTR field. They started chanting FTR. Yeah. They had no idea.
It was tremendous that Punk just like, what are we doing? We're not even going to pretend it here. Very old school type of deal. What do you say? Like Mid-South type of stuff. Not even like early 90s WCW type of stuff.
Yeah, definitely felt Southern. Yeah, I'm not an expert on the different territory plays, but it definitely felt like something FTR would thoroughly enjoy for sure.
Yeah, I that was great. They worked a great match, and clearly because of the wackiness that was involved with it, we know these two teams can have an even better match. I know the Lucha Bros are going to face Dragon Lee and Jalistico at Triple Mania in December, according to Dorian Roland, apologies. The AAA owner, he said that they're working with AEW to get FTR involved to maybe do the triple threat tag team match on that. Regardless, I think we're going to get some type of maybe Full Gear. I actually think this is the play. Full Gear, they're doing title versus title.
Yeah.
I think that's the play.
So do I. I don't think FTR is ever going to work there.
I don't think so. Either. It took me a second to catch up to everything, but it seems like Full Gear, they're going to do title versus title.
There are a lot of people. I'm not educated on Lucha Libre at all, but there are a lot of people that are booking this red hot heel FTR run, and it's like, I don't know if their audience actually would give a shit about that at all.
Yeah.
So, look, if it happens, I'm probably going to watch it. Just intrigue to me would be there, but. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that would work the way that we kind of would think in our traditional wrestling mind, but there you go. I popped for it, man. And someone mentioned in the chat, that post segment with Andrade and MJF, God bless, man. That was saying AEW doesn't do that connective tissue stuff. That popped me tremendously. That was wonderful. MJF was great in that segment. Okay, Jon Moxley assassinated Wheeler Yuta in 47 seconds according to Cage Match. The rare Dynamite squash match, Jeremy. You don't often get these, especially with a guy that's on the roster. Well, I don't know if he's technically on the roster, but he's seen regularly in Wheeler Yuta. Right. Moxley just ran for him, seemingly setting the stage for the semi-finals of the tournament. That's what we would guess. Feels like Moxley, he may not be turning heel, but he's certainly leaning in that direction over this next few months, I think, Jeremy. It seems pretty clear now. This was violent. This was pretty cool. It's a nice way to break up the rhythm and pacing of Dynamite because they don't usually do this kind of squash, right?
And I'm all for kind of doing squash matches, especially with a top guy like Moxley and Yuta, who, we've kind of seen. I mean, we've seen Moxley. Garcia is the main example of let's have a competitive, fun match. And I know that was Rampage, right? It was like a Rampage main event.
Yes.
Okay. So doing these squash matches on Dynamite, I wish they would kind of do more of them. I wanted that. Remember when Malachi faced Brock in the main event? That didn't need to be a main event. That should have been kind of in this spot of hey, let's just have a quick squash match, short. Early.
The Lee Johnson one got 10 minutes too, right? Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah. You don't always need that kind of stuff. I'm all for these kind of squash matches because it's not gonna hurt Wheeler Yuta in the sense that he's not really a guy for them. You know, like there's no reason to try to like, hey, let's like kind of make these guys equal and we're gonna boost Wheeler Yuta and everything. Like, I don't think they have any real plans for Wheeler Yuta outside of just teaming him with Chucky T while Trent is out. So why not just kind of beat him like this?
Yeah, any plans are a long way away, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's a guy that's obviously a massive prospect, and he's playing his trade and getting better every weekend as a top indie guy for sure. Like, and there's definitely something there, but on AEW's roster right now, he's not like a featured guy, clearly, as you said. So, yeah, no, I agree. The YouTube stuff definitely has the squash matches. I get that, chat, but like, I do think there's something to be said for you don't want to make it kind of a lock that every match will go like 6 minutes and have some back and forth. And Moxley is an outlier, so every once in a while, I think you should treat him as such. Jade definitely does a lot of squash matches. That is true. I think most of the time, I could be wrong on this, but most of the straight squash has been on Rampage, I think. Sky Blue, Kiera Hogan, they're the two that come to mind. But I'd have to sit down and look at it. I don't know. I think it's something we said for breaking up format. That's just me. People like different stuff. Super Click versus the Dark Order. This was pretty damn electric, man. The Young Bucks and a multi-man are the safest bet in wrestling. Adam Cole's fitting like glove. It's all just worked, seamlessly. And oh god, Jack Crosby is logged on. Apparently, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, this was awesome. This was a blast. It was 10 minutes of all action. They had some comedy in there. There's always some personality involved when you got the Bucks, John Silver and co involved. It was I don't want to dismiss it by saying it's like the cliche elite multi-man, but like it is, and I mean it as a compliment. They're the best at these matches, right? So it was tremendous. It was exciting TV first and foremost, and the Dark Order thing is going to be interesting in terms of like where it fits into the Hangman Kenny deal, because they used it for Britt and Anna Jay, and I think Britt's working Ty Conti at the pay-per-view, so like there's a lot of different moving pieces with that. But obviously they were, the Elite had to win, or the Super Click had to win here.
Yeah.
Cole's connection with this audience is something else. I mean, the AEW fan loves Adam Cole, baby, don't they?
I mean, you were wrong about Adam Cole.
I was wrong. I said he was terrible. Remember?
Yeah, you were like, he's not going to fit in AEW. What does he actually bring? What does he actually bring to the table? They got enough short guys like him.
Yeah, I said they needed a unique white guy like Buddy Murphy. Remember I said that? It was an exact quote of mine. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you'll get him wrong sometimes, guys. No, yeah, like I'll say this. He's tremendous. I knew anyway he was very, very good, but like there's a lot to be said for how he's transitioned. It's been incredibly, incredibly smooth, which very, very, very few guys have come from WWE and gone to AEW and made it as easy as Adam Cole.
Yeah.
We know why we get it. The Elite connection helps, but his performance, he hasn't missed a beat. So good for him. Good for the Bay man. Did you like this match, Jeremy?
I did. I like the kiss spot is so great. When his reaction when he found out it wasn't the Young Bucks kissing him, it's such a dumb spot that works, and like Cole sold it very well. Like you said, it was a standard Young Bucks Adam Cole trios match, and that's a very high compliment because those guys are all tremendous, and the Dark Order guys are very good too. And it advanced the story as well. Like, I don't know if Adam Cole is going to be Hangman's first challenger, but it feels like Adam Cole might be Hangman's first challenger.
That's Revolution, brother.
You think so?
The tournament will be his first challenge, remember?
Oh, true. Well, I guess that's what I meant, is like that's going to be his first big pay-per-view match. Not necessarily his first challenger, because you're right.
I think that's kind of a lock. I didn't even think about it before, but yeah, I think you're right. I just wanted to point out, was it Darren Rovell? Is that his name?
Yeah.
The guy that TK dunked on? Dave Meltzer quote tweeting him with, "You may want to look into this further," is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, man.
That's what he quotes with. "You may want to look into this further," after the man had already been dunked on by TK. No need for that. Dave, no need at all, but I respect it. Crosby is filling my phone up here with notifications. This is not good.
What does Crosby want?
I don't know. I'm on the air, but I'm trying to respect their audience. I don't want to just read Jason. I want to, but he's filling it up with him and shoot in that group chat we talk about a lot.
That I'm not part of, yeah.
And the Bob's not part of. And the Oracle is not part of, interestingly enough.
Oh, wow. O'Neill's backstage, by the way. I just don't want to bring him on during Dynamite. We'll finish the Dynamite review, and then we'll dunk on O'Neill some more.
Okay, cool. Penny Ford over Kiera Hogan. This got off to a rough start. It's always a bummer when these matches come out and the people just like stop making sound. It's very sad.
Yeah.
And look, there's many reasons. We all know the many different ones, but yeah. They got there in the end. They got the Saints steady enough, and like the comeback of Kiera was neat, and the people kind of got with that. They need to do a better job with the matchmaking. I think both of these women are capable, but I think they both will be better off being paired with like an in-ring leader. Yeah. I think, I'll be honest, I said someone has always thought she had a big upside. Penelope needs to deliver against Ruby whenever that match happens. Like, I want to see at the very least a match as good as the Bunny had with Ruby, you know? Because Penelope is someone that's always had a lot of the tools, or not always, that's not fair, but since I've seen her the last, 18 months, 2 years, she's had a whole lot of tools, but like making it all click has been a challenge for her. I want to see a good performance against Ruby personally, just as a fan of like where that division needs to go and all that good stuff. It's a big match for her. But this match was okay. Not much more, if I'm being honest, Jeremy. Fair?
I didn't actually catch most of this match. I was dealing with an internet issue, and it didn't seem like anything that I should have rushed to go back to watch. So I did not rush to go back to watch it.
Yeah, there was not much conversation about this one online, fair to say. Yeah, I don't know. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, defeated Bob Fish. This was Bryan's like weakest AEW match, which says more about his AEW matches than this match. This was two guys just trying to have a nice little match rather than trying to have a big epic, which is absolutely fine and made sense. I think both guys, especially Bryan was a little beat up after Friday. So that's what it is. But I did like it. I liked Bobby's just tenacity on the leg. I love his strikes. They're always good. I love that little body shot he throws. That left hook to the body he throws. Throws it a lot, but he's very good. And then Bryan fired up. Oh, yeah, we'll do the Hangman talk after this. My bad, guys.
Yes.
Then Bryan fired up and went after the leg himself, and he did that with this just violence. And they built to that really cool heel hook spot where they both had the leg and they were kicking, and Bryan was kicking Bobby Fish in the face as hard as he could. And then he got the heel hook and he won with that, which is really cool. And I have a feeling could be important in the tournament. We'll get to that momentarily. Good match though, right, Jeremy? It wasn't trying to be anything more than that, but it was a good match.
This was another one. I mean, first off, both guys had just wrestled the night before, and Danielson got the shit kicked out of him by Suzuki. So you can understand if he wants to go a little of a less gear. In this match. And yeah, they weren't going for anything super strong. It was a fine television main event. And this is another, like, Rampage was taped right after this. And we've kind of touched on it before, but when Rampage is taped afterwards, like, the Dynamite main event doesn't always feel like the main event, because for the live crowd, like, it's just not. So, and the first match on Rampage is kind of like the big match. So it sometimes can feel like the Dynamite main event is actually like the come down for the first match on Rampage. Obviously that was flipped the night before, where Danielson Suzuki was the big match and Punk and Seidel was almost the come down. But that's sort of what this felt like. What was the first match on Rampage? Was it the tournament match?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I avoid all that stuff, but I'm a coward.
Oh, okay, fair. I mean, they announced matches for Rampage. I'm not spoiling anything on.
I'm gonna guess that. Let me think about this. I'm going to guess that the opener was Orange and Hobbs.
Yeah, it was Orange and Hobbs.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then Pac and Andrade was also announced. That's going to close Rampage. So I'm not saying Orange and Hobbs is like a main event match or anything, but like Pac and Andrade certainly feels like a main event.
It's different. Night. The crowd knows what's ahead of them, and they react accordingly. I think you're right to say that. Well, Jericho's tweeting now.
Oh, boy.
He should probably not do that. It never goes well.
What is Jericho saying?
I don't know. Something about Ruby and Roman.
Jericho says Ruby should beat Roman at the bar. Oh, because Roman said he's going to toss people out of the club and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Chris is an interesting guy. Shoot has literally texted that to me right now. So, Hangman, this dude, so Miro had this awesome pre-tape. There's not really a lot to say about either of these segments. They're just great promos.
Yeah.
Miro's one is like, content-wise, was definitely his most daring effort yet, and it was awesome. He's the delivery, the production, all of the above. On any other week would have been their best promo of the show, but he went before Hangman. I'm pretty pumped to see how they book Miro coming back here.
Me too.
He's obviously going to kill some guys, like goes without saying, but the ceiling and such will be interesting to see because he feels like a guy that can main event a pay-per-view of Hangman, right? Easily. Yeah. So, any thoughts on that promo first, Jeremy?
I really enjoy it. I was wondering where they were going to go with Miro after losing because you're God's favorite champion and then you have lost. And I'm sure there's more than two ways you can go with it, but the main two ways are Miro being mad at God and Miro feeling disappointed that he let God down. And they went with the former of, he is mad at God. So I'm interested to see where this is going.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know. What have you been texted, Joseph?
I don't even know if I can read this stuff on the air. It appears that Jack Crosby is like really fired up.
Tell Jack Crosby he has the link. Tell him to jump in here.
No, I think it's best he doesn't.
Why not?
Some really graphic texts are coming through here, very violent stuff.
So what? I'm gonna privately DM him and say, come on the show.
Hangman Adam Page promo. The promo of his life. One of the best promos in AEW history. Yes. A promo in which in about 4 minutes he managed to catch up any new viewers on what they've missed without, insulting anyone's intelligence and instead like rallying the troops that have followed him along the way. This kind of inspirational promo that never felt, patronizing or try hard. It was like sincere and authentic and it was just top guy shit, man. It was cowboy shit, as he said. But I mean, it was old school pro wrestling. Top babyface talking him in the building. Like it was magnificent. And this character is one of of wrestling's best. Like not just now, but like honestly, it's one of wrestling's best characters ever because there's a lot there that you can dig and enjoy if you want to. I don't think they ever try too hard with that stuff and try to create lore and any of that shit. Like it's there if you want to see it, but when you listen to some of the stuff he says, there's like a level of emotional depth to it that wrestling very, very rarely touches. And it works on the surface level. It works far, far deeper than that. So it's awesome. This promo was, if you had any reservations about Hangman being the top guy in the promotion post Full Gear, this promo felt like it kind of erased any of those, right? I mean, the guy's ready to go. He's ready to be world champion. And if they don't do that and don't pull that trigger, then we have to have a conversation because, man, this was something special. Jeremy, all hail?
I think you've got to – first off, you've got to put the title on Hangman. There's no sense in delaying any of this. I'll knock him down and no. It
feels like he's winning it, right?
Yeah, he's the guy. He is clearly the guy. And this I watched this promo live and I loved it. I watched it the next day. I was fired up for it. I watched it on Sunday again. Like I've watched it. I didn't watch it today, but I've watched it 3 times already. Mm-hmm. This promo fucking rules. Like just like you said, he caught people up, be like, you know what? I went away and, to be a father and, during the hottest run of my career, came back and now I'm here. I'm going after the title. And like, that it wasn't even just that. He told the story of like, essentially AEW, like we started this as friends along the way. I lost myself, then I lost some other things. And like, he just told the story of himself in AEW and just the crowd was with him the whole way. Fuck, dude. Like I watched that promo and I'm like, I will run through a wall for this man. Like whatever you need me to do, Hangman Page, let's fucking go. You got me. I loved it. And like you said that, if there was any concerns, and as I said earlier, I was a little bit concerned with Danielson and Punk coming in, and they played it smartly with not elevating Punk to the main event stuff right away. But the pop last week when he came out and won the casino ladder match, that quelled a lot of like, okay, yeah, things are good. This promo really shut that up of like, yeah, ain't got to worry about it. This is the guy.
It was very, very special. Hard times coming on the chat. This felt like, I do think the Cowboy shit promo will be something people will point back to. I actually think that's a real thing. Quickly before we bring Bob on here, bury him. Tournament bracket, a little bit polarizing. I think, AEW's just desperation to protect everyone with a pulse is always fun. It pops me tremendously that they feel the need to not like do it. And I respect it. Like, people think they're hot shot, and if you actually watch their product, it's like the furthest from that. Like, this tournament bracket is a great example of it. Dustin and Bryan fires me up. I get why some people don't care, but for me, it's tremendous. The big one is, though, Jeremy, and we talked about this a little bit on the Grin when you popped on. Damn, if we can get Kingston and Bryan in that semi, and I'm not predicting it. I don't know if we're going to. I think that's actually a 50-50. Most people are like really divided on it.
Yeah.
But man, that would be some tremendous professional wrestling. But either way, Archer and Bryan would be great too. So it'll be good, man. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend this blow-away lineup, but I'm sure the in-ring will be good regardless. And Hobbs and Orange is going to be interesting just to see how they do that, because I think Orange is winning, and that's like kind of a challenge, I think, in many ways. Yeah. So we shall see. Drew, any thoughts on the bracket?
I mean, it seems like it's clearly designed for the Mox and Danielson final. Yeah, we talked about it on the Grin of who's going to win that Kingston and Archer match, and I feel like you're going to need a week off if Eddie loses, because I just don't know. Month off? Okay. Yeah, I know you're going to need some time off after that. So because I don't want to lose you for a month, I would like Eddie Kingston to win. It is interesting that they just protect guys, and I've always said that the rankings are sort of a joke. I think this continues to sort of just reaffirm that, because if you're looking to give guys a title shot, you would probably want the top 5 ranked guys on there, and that's why I don't think
if you're a coward, maybe. But,
but Joseph, you know what? If you took a month off, I feel like I could have a good co-host to fill in for that entire month, even though he probably wouldn't do it. But if you wanted to, the spot would be yours, no. Jack Crosby.
I am absolutely not doing that.
Wow, thanks. Thanks, buddy.
I barely have enough time, but I made time today, because what a great goddamn day this is. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I mean, my daughter's, but there's nothing different there. I don't know. I had a day of work. I can't quite put my finger on why I'm in such a good fucking mood today.
Should I send this link to Tony Khan?
Okay, Jack. I didn't read any of the text that I've received since I've been on the air. Respect for our friendship. I wasn't being hyperbolic when I told the people that you were pretty fired up. Huh? You seem. I mean, you said you're in a good mood, but my God, some of those texts, Jack, they're pretty ballsy. You seem fired up, pal.
Ruby Soho versus the Bunny did the same numbers as a segment involving Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. I do not care what sort of mental gymnastics you want to play. That's absurd. That is absurdity. There's no two ways about it. Now, people will go on Twitter and they will play those mental gymnastics, and they'll tell you let it play out and everything's fine. That's not that. People need to realize something. This goddamn company has been around for 2 years. They should not be doing what they're doing. I truly mean they should not be doing this. We should not be sitting here talking about this. This is absurd.
Yeah. How's Twitter doing right now, Jack? How's it going?
Oh, let's look at the old tweet deck. I don't know. A lot of diapers and whatnot. Like, there are more dirty diapers on this tweet deck stream right now than I think I have in that can upstairs in my daughter's room. It's great stuff. It's great stuff. And then I think I enjoy it a little more. Like, you guys, I'm not saying you guys have to be careful, but like, I'm not part of the quote unquote wrestling media. I'm just the guy who enjoys watching professional wrestling. That's all I am. I can talk whatever goddamn shit I want.
Yeah, I do have to be a little bit careful. I think it's pretty clear that I'm not one of the main victims of that, though. I basically tweet like you do, but yeah.
It's funny because did you guys see that the clip Eric Bischoff tweeted today from the show?
Yeah.
Where he kind of, reprimanded Tony and gave him a little talking to. I mean, come on. And then these numbers come. No, I'll give Uncle Eric credit. He had some points in there. He really did. When he was like, look, man, I went right at them. You're not really going right at them on a regular basis. But even still, just the optics of it, those numbers coming out on the same day.
The thing, and look, I love Eric. Everyone knows that. But it feels like a lot of that response was rooted in Tony being mean about WCW's shortcomings, right? Because he was like, we're not going to make the same mistakes they did. And Eric gets, bless Eric, but he still hasn't accepted they made those mistakes. He doesn't, which is hilarious in so many ways. But he doesn't really understand what he means by that. That's fine.
No, I mean, Uncle Eric was the coach who just didn't know how to adapt. It's like if you're a football defensive coordinator and you plan for an offensive game plan, but that opposing team then says, now wait a minute, we're going to come out in the second half and do this instead. And they're like, well, we didn't practice for this. I don't know what to do. That's what happened when Vince decided that they were going to turn the Attitude Era out in full loop. And then Eric was like, I don't know what to do now. Just send out the keep sending out the NWO. Keep adding more memories and shit.
Yeah. But he never adjusted to the new stars either, did he? In 1999, he didn't realize Mick Foley was a big deal. He just didn't. He never was able to grasp that.
They didn't get that. And I think the popularity of the NWO just got to his head, I think, to the point where you start to rely on it too much. And that's what had happened. But ultimately, if there's anything I want wrestling fans to remember, it's that as much as we like talking about it, the Monday Night War and what's happening now are two very, very, very different things, not just in terms of nights in which the shows air. It's that AEW was created 2 years ago.
Yes.
Technically, WCW was this isn't technically. WCW was the remnants of the NWA that had been around much, much longer than the WWF. Matter of fact, the WWF was a part of the NWA before Vince Sr. broke it away. WCW technically was around for 60, 70 years, always competing with WWE, maybe not for television shares, but they were promoting to sell tickets sometimes in the same markets. Yes, the NWA would, especially Georgia Championship Wrestling, Mid-Atlantic, they would stay south, but sometimes they would creep up north a little bit, and you'd have a little, in the Baltimore area, you'd have the head. But point is, they were feuding for years and years and years in some capacity. AEW showed up 2 years ago and said, all right, let's do the damn thing. And here we are.
Yes, there was very much the WCW WWF thing was a continuation of an ongoing cultural wrestling divide, where there was a lot of people that just saw that as their wrestling. This is the way wrestling is. And that's the same reason that when Hogan came over as a babyface, a lot of those crowds did not like Hulk Hogan because they're like, hey, he's from that WWF stuff. That sucks, You're absolutely right. AEW's audience is basically people that are been shunned by the WWE, which is hilarious. Which is kind of us.
I know people have seen clips of Black Saturday, but I've had a few people who live down south that I got to ask that are wrestling fans and that were older than me that saw it happen. And they said, you would not believe how livid us Southern wrestling fans were when Vince McMahon showed up on that screen to promote his version of wrestling. He said we were ready to start storming the TV stations. They were so mad.
No, you're right. The context is lost on some people.
Jack,
no.
I have a very important question for you, Jack. You mentioned that there was a smell of dirty diapers on Twitter and in your house, but have you smelled other things, Jack?
That smells like big money to me. Give them hell, TK!
It's so bad because of fucking Joseph. The only thing I can hear when I see Matt Hardy is the beginning of that goddamn entrance song.
He's wrong so much. The man standing in his like massive front yard, like filming a video, pop himself.
It is great. I love to see AEW thrive, and the only thing, and I just, there's some people out there still think that, speaking of the Monday Night Wars, well, this is going to force WWE to change. And if you think that, you're stupid and you're blind, because
they changed by trying to do Sasha and Becky, and then they threw Roman and Brock contract signing, and they're just trying to do these big matches that no one actually cares about because they've neutered all these people over the past 10 years.
Plus, I think something like happened on Friday night was just WWE's way. Like, they were bored and said, look, we have this opportunity. We're on FS1. Let's try to flick those little guys over there. Like, let's flick them on the back of the ear or something. Let them know we're here. But as far as like any kind of change, like you saw during the Monday Night Wars, where it's like, all right, a competitor is really pushing our buttons. We got to do something. WWE nowadays has no reason to do that because there's guaranteed Saudi money. There's guaranteed TV money. Like Monday Night War type shit, Vince was going to go broke. His company was going to go out of business.
Yep.
That's not happening now.
No, they operated like wrestling promotion then.
And
it's not
let
the
me
same.
clarify. Like, I think that's the first time I've brought that point up, like in a podcast type setting, like here. But I've said this privately. And like, let me be clear. If I was Vince, I'd probably do the same thing. I wouldn't change shit. If NBC is saying, here's your $1 billion check, and Fox is saying, here's your $2 billion check, and the Saudis are saying, here's your $25 million check, I would be the first one to go, okay, thanks. And when people go, we should change this, I'd go, why? For what reason?
The problem is, and look, we're not working there, but the real issue is, Jack, if you look at the folks that have been surrounding Vince these last couple of years that have returned to power, I don't think anyone's even saying we should change this. Like,
I firmly believe that Bruce Pritchard may be the detriment, because I could definitely see Bruce in his mind. I don't think he thinks AEW is a threat.
No,
Bruce,
I agree.
He doesn't.
He thinks it sucks.
Yeah, Bruce wasn't even in the running for this job. He just got it somehow. It was Heyman and Bischoff, and then somehow Bruce came in there and got it, which is tremendous. But he seems very out of touch.
Like, I'm sure there are people within that company that are going to Vince or trying to pass along to Vince, hey, look, these guys are legit. They're the real deal. Like, we're not saying we have to change, but like, a lot of fans are migrating over there. Oh, and if you didn't notice, our wrestlers too are starting to migrate over there. And Bruce is the guy going, don't worry about it, Vince. They're what? I don't even know what AWE. I don't even know what is. I don't know. They'll be out of business in a year. Don't worry about it, Vince. And Vince, for whatever reason, few people in this world, Bruce Pritchard is one that Vince just listens to. All
right. Listen, man, their system isn't built on individual star power by design. We know that. Right. But man, the amount of guys they've let go in this last 2 years. Who could have ever seen this coming? Like, this roster is transformed. And if you look at the rosters now, side by side, it's like, damn, AEW may be stronger.
And it's like, there's Bob. Hey, Bob. I told Bob I told Bob in private that I was going to drive up to Titan Tower right now, and I was going to do something to the building.
Yeah, you gonna spray paint AEW on it?
No. Remember we talked about diapers?
Oh, Jesus.
Bob was like, hey, pal, you're kind of fired up there. Why don't you calm down? And I was like, all right, maybe I should just take a step back. I don't know. Maybe Bob's right this time. Maybe I should just calm down.
Bob, how are you hanging in there, Bob, after this massive L that you took this evening?
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Are you guys okay over there? Everything all right?
No, I don't think they're even running Raw tonight. I think they're just shutting down.
Fair. It's a good response, honestly. Have you seen what they've booked for Raw? Probably
That's true.
Should just shut it down.
Is MC Shoot backstage, Jeremy?
No. Oh, he is now. Yes.
Am I to believe Am I to believe that Drew McIntyre and Big E are teaming for like the 19th straight week, Bob?
Yeah, can they coexist?
Yeah,
Can
coexist.
they coexist?
What are we doing here?
Can they coexist, Shoot?
How's it going, Jeremy? I've been sitting back here for about 10 minutes now.
It just popped up. It just popped up.
What a moment this is, guys.
Do you smell that, Shoot? Do you smell it?
That smells like big money to me. Give them hell, TK!
What a day, guys. Just what a day.
Yeah. Seems like
doubted
Twitter's been
them.
fun. Seems like Twitter's been fun for you guys while I've been on here, huh?
Yeah. I had some random guy with a bunch of numbers at the end of his account reply to me, and I actually replied back to him for some reason. Popped myself pretty huge there. And then I just hard tilted to spring football because I didn't want to get caught up in all that anymore. But yeah.
See, I disagree, my friend. Today's the day where we have to get those fucking tweets off. Get them tweets off today.
We really doubted that this was going to happen. We just look like idiots now. Like our live reaction when TK made that tweet last Friday. Was it Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks really bad now.
Yeah, we'll just get rid of it. Let's just delete it.
Yeah, there we go.
Delete it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even like, I could come on here and do like the big boisterous act that pops everybody, but like this is just, I mean, it's honestly incredible. I know they're on FS1. I know like it's not their normal show. They were on Fox. They would have gotten killed, but AEW didn't start this.
They finished it though.
Yes. Like this, what WWE did this. Like they created this. And then the best one is Tony Khan dunking on that Rovell clown.
I was just gonna say, Matt. I was just gonna say the best thing that this gave us was Tony Khan put him in a body bag.
Yeah. That dude is the worst. That tweet couldn't have been more obvious that he just copy and pasted an email that he probably received from Bruce Pritchard. And now he just looks like a moron. And, again, we're having that same conversation on the timeline now where they had more viewers, and that's fine. But, again, they're the same people who tweet out that Raw was number one on cable. Right.
Yeah.
Well, what were they number one in, guys? Because it's not total viewership. They're not even in the top 10. And neither is AEW, to be clear. There's this belief that the demos don't matter when it's literally like the thing that matters.
It's literally the thing. It's literally the thing that advertising executives give you the money for. It's literally
like they finish, AEW finishes number one on cable, and Turner puts out a press release.
Mm-hmm.
Like their total viewership is not probably in the top 25 because everyone's watching Fox News for some reason. I don't want to go down that road. That was almost bad, but
I'm sorry. I'm really not that Matt. That's a good point because that pops me the most is that these people that go on Peacock and watch a WWE 24 and then get on Twitter and go demos don't matter. It's like you don't have to have a Harvard business degree to know that when you go into a meeting with advertising executives, they ask you, what are your demographic numbers?
Yeah, the demos are. We're not even like none of us are TV guys. I mean, I guess Crosby, you are on some minor level.
That is part of why that is part of why I know that. But that is so important, and to see so many friggin' bootlickers just dismiss it, I don't friggin' get it.
Guys, I don't want this to be one-sided, so I think it's only fair we let Bob respond. Bob, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the ratings don't matter unless they do.
Yeah.
I literally just told you how they do it.
No, but he's true. Bobby's absolutely correct that if the dub had got slaughtered, we would have not mentioned it once on the show.
Yeah.
It rolls. Everyone's biased. Everyone's having fun. But, yeah, I don't know. Bob, it was pretty wild that Tony Khan just fucking owned you today in public. That was kind of weird. Did you expect that when you woke up this morning that Tony Khan would just dunk on you and stuff you in a locker?
No, every day's an adventure. So.
Hey, Bob, you get what you get, I suppose.
Exactly.
It was great watching, like, as Joe, we were talking a little bit before you went on the air. Like,
Yeah.
we kind of watched Tony ramp up into that victory lap in real time. like you could tell he got some numbers and they look good, but he didn't have the head-to-head yet. But he knew. So he made that tweet that was like, you could tell he was getting ready.
Yeah.
He was like, putting on his shoes, getting ready to go running around.
Bob, please quote tweet Revel with "You get what you get," I suppose.
I would. He blocked me for some reason.
For some reason.
Okay, so here's what you do. You tweet, "You get what you get," I suppose, at Vince McMahon.
There you go.
That's fair. That works. I just can't believe they dunked themselves by leaking the. And they made it so obvious the demo was close by that not leaking. God bless them, man. They're not even good at that stuff.
I mean, can you really not believe it though?
I'll be honest. When Jeremy was one of the people I talked to him about this earlier, like when people were doing those tweets about weird that the demo number hasn't leaked, I was thinking surely they're not that dumb that they would like tell on themselves. Yes, they are. I can confirm they're actually that dumb.
To be fair, though, I mean that shit worked on exactly who they wanted it to work on. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's people who are gonna believe that narrative no matter what. And look, the total viewership is not even close. There's a lot of people who are much older than me watching the World Wrestling Federation. That can't be argued.
Agreed.
There are people much older than Matt and I combined.
Yes.
Fair. That's very fair. Man, what a time, huh, guys? What a time.
Yeah,
the
this
bunny,
is something, man.
The bunny drawing the same degree as Brock Lesnar. God bless.
This is good, man. Like I just got done with work. I'm fucking starving, and Jeremy dropped that link, and I went in.
Yeah.
Joseph said I shouldn't, message you because
I was worried.
Fired up. Yeah, and Joseph was worried about you. I said, well, let me just, let me shoot him a message and see if he'll come on. And here you are.
I didn't want to read Jack's messages out, but Shoot can co-sign. Like there was some pretty aggressive messages in there, huh? There was some.
Yeah.
Not that I would elaborate on what those were, but my God, graphic language, all sorts, man. It was wild.
Honestly, the best part of that was Joseph and I pretending that we intentionally didn't take part in that. And it wasn't just a coincidence that we didn't take part in that. We're good friends.
I had a victory lap in there this evening, right? And my victory lap was just tweeting about and at Robert O'Neill for about half an hour before I went on the air. And I actually advertised this show as Bob's funeral, and I said rest in piss, which was probably in hindsight a little bit unfair.
Joseph, I can tell you that I received a DM from Bob that involved the threat of some very graphic violence towards you.
Wow. Like throwing me off a bridge or like stomping on my head and that kind of thing?
Very hard. I'm not going to go into that. DMs are private, so I can't go into the exact details of what was said. Bob was very upset.
Was it as graphic as what he tweets when like Ty Conti comes on the screen?
Different type of graphic.
Okay. There's normally violence there's probably a violence link there though, no?
Fair, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fair. Bob looks really menacing as he sits there while this conversation takes place.
He's looking up plane tickets to England right now.
Yeah.
God bless, man. What a time that would be. Bob and I go to WWF Live in Brighton.
Like Crosby just got off work and he's on here victory lapping. I've got dinner waiting for me in the other room and I'm on here victory lapping.
I'm starving right now. I'm starving, but
we're going to be wrapping up shortly.
Go to dinner's ready, so.
Yeah, we should probably wrap up anyway because everyone's got to watch Elevation. That is on at 7 p.m. Eastern time every Monday on YouTube.
I think I told Bob the best part of this, of me taking a victory lap. Again, I don't give a shit. I told Bob this. The best part of me talking this shit. When I didn't watch either show.
Yeah.
You didn't watch anything from either show?
Jeremy, there was a top 10 college football team playing on Friday night. and then Saturday.
You have all weekend.
He watched Danielson and
I was saying you watched Danielson Suzuki, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched that
That's all
yesterday
that really
morning
matters.
while I was feeding.
you guys see the Hangman promo.
Yeah, that's have you seen the Hangman promo?
Wait. Yes, I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched the Hangman clip yesterday too.
Okay.
That was really fucking
You're
good.
good.
But I mean, it's just fun. I'm taking this victory lap about ratings, and I didn't contribute one bit.
Well, you wouldn't anyway. You don't have.
He's like the opposite of Bob, because Bob plays it down the middle and watches both, and Jack watched neither of them. Took a firm side on Oh, what a wonderful time. Truly blessed, folks. Who would have thought it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if Oregon wasn't playing on Friday, I probably would have watched Rampage, but
Their number went way up for Friday with competition.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, I still believe that's all Tony was actually tweeting last Friday. Was basically letting everyone know, hey, you need to watch this show because WWE's competing with us, and that works because that's how the AEW fan base operates.
Yep, it was rallying the troops basically.
Yes,
as lame as that sounds, that was what it was.
And then he actually won anyway, so it looks even better.
Has he tweeted the Walter White video yet?
I believe that they're saving that to actually air on the show Friday night. Like that's how Rampage is going to open. There'll be a little note in the bottom corner that says footage courtesy of AMC, and it'll just use the same one we do where it's in reverse so it doesn't get copyrighted, and the AMC you can see the AMC logo reversed in the bottom corner.
God bless, and it says then now forever. We fucking won. What if they just had every ex-WWE guy in like a pre-tape just saying get fucked in a row?
Jericho's tweet was incredible too, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
what do you say?
He said, looks like Ruby should meet Roman in the bar.
Imagine Ty Conti saying get fucked to Vince McMahon.
The thing is, if there's anyone in the roster who'd probably tweet it, it's her, so.
Yeah, true. That's fair. Oh, man. What a fault.
What a time. This little 2-year-old company.
And it closes with like Punk on his own, being like, "Get fucked."
We still don't. They're still burying WWE. We don't know where the hell Triple H is.
Bless him, man. Bless him.
Don't know where that goddamn.
He should stay out because it's better for like he can let them kill it. You know, like let him just chill.
We should have known that this was happening when WWE released that Talking Smack was going to be after the next FS1 and not another half hour. That should have been the tell that they knew they lost earlier this morning.
In all seriousness, it's good for everyone that watches SmackDown because they're not going to get a third hour on Fox Sports 1. That's not happening. And if you like that show, I'd imagine you're happy about that because look at what's happened to Raw with the third hour over the last 9 years. Like it's not good for anyone.
I don't understand how anyone seriously, if Tony Khan tweeted out tomorrow, Dynamite's going to 3 hours, I would say, all right, listen.
Yeah, we'd all
let's
be
just
mad
calm
about
down there, pal. We don't need that.
By all accounts, Rampage was pitched by TNT as their third hour, and he was like, "We're better making the third hour of TV content its own show." That was TK's play, right?
I don't know if you guys even remember when I was on the grid, like when they did the 2-hour Rampage. I think I remember telling you guys, I was like, I didn't like that. I like my hour Rampage. Don't give me I like my hour.
Yeah, that was essentially a 4-hour show with the Grand Slam and everything.
Yeah.
Just broken up across 2 days. And there was too many commercial breaks on that 2-hour.
I think we had openly talked about thinking they were going to get that second hour, but that was when we thought they were going to TBS. I would guess they don't even want that extra hour at this point. I mean, they probably wouldn't turn it down if it got, because it's more money, but they've also.
It's all about the time.
If you're doing 2-hour Rampage, you got to go live every week. You can't do these 4-hour.
What if does he go really crazy and make it 2 hours and he goes on at 9 as a rib?
That would be
and he starts every show by like flame throwing a blue SmackDown logo.
I mean,
not against Fox. You're not when SmackDown.
What if the show just starts with a different wrestler every week saying "fuck Fox"?
That's the thing. Jeremy's right. Like if it was USA, okay. But a broadcast network like Fox, nah.
What if Eddie Kingston just burns a WWE flag in center ring every week?
What? The question, maybe, if anything, does this prove that they could they could do that. And obviously they're not going to win, but they probably could maintain their audience. I mean, do we think like a bunch of people who normally watch SmackDown watch the first half hour of Rampage? Because like, I do wonder if they could do pretty much the same number they do now if they went 9 to 11. And yes, they would
lose,
killed.
but yeah, they would do the same number, I think.
Yeah.
Are they going live like every week?
They would.
Here's the other thing too. Here's the thing with that move. Wow, Bob, he knows he's in deep trouble.
Like, we got to catch up, man.
Listen, here's the deal. It would kind of force SmackDown to like really lock in too, because if they had a flat first hour, there's more chance of their audience being like, well, let's just see what happens.
Well, in theory it would, but that's not actually.
Yeah.
That wouldn't actually happen. I think they're fine. I mean, look, we're just talking anyway, but I don't think they need to do anything. I think they should keep it the way they are. They're just now figuring out that third hour, honestly.
But what if, like, they just did your old play on the grin and they just started naming local wrestlers after WWE talent? And, like, you had,
that's a great idea.
Tribal Joe doing a 2-minute job to John Moxley on television.
I mean, that's a tremendous idea.
Ed Kingston goes on commentary and just says, acknowledge this for, like, just over and over again.
What if they just made like Ramon Reigns?
What about Ruby Reigns? What if they just said Ruby Reigns?
Ramon
and Reigns is R-A-I-N-S, so it's just Ramon Reigns, and they just beat him on TV every week.
Oh, God bless, man.
Put him in the flak jacket and just have an RR, like not a fancy logo. It just says RR.
Ruby's so
all right, that's it for me, guys. I'm taking off. I can't top that.
Yeah, brother.
See you, shoot.
Have a good night, guys.
You too, buddy.
Guys, this is incredible stuff. This is incredible stuff. I can't get over it.
Tope Suicida said the big cat of AEW. Ramon Reigns, the big cat.
I just feel bad. Here's the three of us doing what we usually do. We're on here having fun, talking our shit. Somewhere out there's other podcast people that are writing down how they could spin this in Vince McMahon's favor.
Yeah. And just taking it all too seriously overall, right? If we're being honest, it's, that's worth having fun with.
Don't take this shit seriously. It's a goddamn television show.
Yes.
Like,
it's professional wrestling, man. It's, if you ain't grinning, it ain't worth your time in pro wrestling, brother. It ain't near be in your life, That's the truth of it. But yeah. All right. Well, we should probably wrap up, right? Go watch Elevation, pal. The hottest show on Monday nights.
Jack Crosby, would you like to plug anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, folks, if you've enjoyed the last half hour in particular, go to latenightgrin.com. You can get lots of confirmed shoot making up fantasy booking ideas such as Ramon Reigns. In about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit less perhaps, we're going to do the Bud Matt Power Hour and watch the latest Buddy Matthews indie match that's made it to the YouTubes.
My God.
So you can join us there, sign up for $1. There's no tiers. You can just do what you want to do. So yeah, all hell.
All right, the rest of this week, Twitch tomorrow. O'Neill's back. O'Neill, do you want to give a eulogy to close the show?
No, not really.
All right, well, it's kind of useless. Go away.
Why? Does he not think about the why didn't he just come back on and start talking shit about Matt since Matt was gone?
He's a coward.
He is a coward.
Yeah.
God damn it, Bob. All right, I gotta go, guys. I'll see you later. Love you too.
See you, Jack. Thanks, buddy. I'm gonna plug some stuff, and then I'll bring O'Neill back on to prepare a eulogy, Robert O'Neill, or prepare shit talk for shoot. One of the two. Don't let us down. Twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming tomorrow, 3:00. I think Joel Pearl and I will be doing the 2K Universe mode. Joseph, what are we doing the ROH thing tomorrow? I don't know the schedule.
Yes, we are. That will be at about 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay, so 6 Eastern here on this channel. We're gonna do, what match are we watching?
We're watching the very first Ring of Honor main event, pal. We're gonna start the show by reviewing this week's Ring of Honor TV, and it can be very loose. It can be whatever you want it to be, because Bob's watching that now for the sake of the program. And then we're gonna watch Key, Danielson, and Daniels, the first ever Ring of Honor main event. So
okay, and that's on YouTube.
That's on YouTube tomorrow. Yep.
All right, so we're gonna do that tomorrow at 6 o'clock right here on this channel. Twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. Joel Pearl and I doing 2K19 Universe mode where Rusev won the title, and to close our last show. Wednesday, we will be, I guess there's no pre-Dynamite on Wednesday, so I don't know if we're going to do anything on the channel on Wednesday. Maybe we'll figure something out. We'll talk about something. Thursday, the Distraction Thursdays, 3 p.m. Eastern. Oh, shit. Crown Jewel is this Thursday. Jesus. I don't know what time the Distraction is on Thursday. I think it's 5.
We should cancel the Distraction and instead just come on here and do more fantasy booking about what AEW should do in their Friday night time slot. That's what we should do.
Cass is going to join us on Friday.
He could do it. He could do that. He'd enjoy that.
All right. So at some point on Thursday, probably 5 o'clock. Maybe we'll do some type of NBA show on Wednesday. We'll figure it out. At some point on Thursday, I think probably 5 o'clock. Whenever they're done with their review of Crown Jewel on the main channel, we will have Cass on and just do a show. We're gonna do a show. Don't know what it's gonna be. We will do a show. And then Friday, I don't know what Friday is. We'll be on Twitch. I'll be on Twitch. We'll do stuff. I don't know the new schedule, Joseph. All this is confusing to me.
You seem very confused. I don't understand your confusion. What's your confusion? Let's talk about this together. Come on, let's do it as a family. Okay, go ahead.
Do we have anything on the YouTube on Friday?
No, we don't.
Okay. All right. So nothing on YouTube on Friday. And then the weekends, there'll be something on Twitch, and I'll continue to upload stuff, gaming stuff on the YouTube. But the main YouTube stuff right now is this show, Mondays at 5, ROH, Tuesdays at 6. Typically, the pre-Dynamite show, which will be Wednesdays at probably 5. Oh, no,
6.
That's way too early. 6. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, which will be Wednesdays at 6. Distraction post show, which will be Thursdays at 4:30. Those will be the shows.
Monday to Thursday, you can block in. The rest of it, we're going to play around with.
Yeah. Thursday show going to be main channel. The main Distraction show. Oh gosh, Sean Arsap is here to tell me that I'm probably wrong on all of this stuff.
Distraction. Here's a story nobody leaked to you over the weekend, but I'll now, dog. Grapsity got a big victory over Distraction after Distraction aggressively extended into YouTube and loaded it up with media members in an NHL stream, with Grapsity winning with 4.32K viewers to 3.1K. That's a 29% margin.
Wow.
We've been owned.
They just came on to bury our channel, bury our show.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. It's all O'Neill's fault.
Anyway. Anyway, guys, have fun on all that stuff.
O'Neill, do you have a eulogy or shit talk?
Yeah, first of all, Shoot's a coward. He left before I came back. So, Jack Crosby's also kind of a coward. To share what I said earlier to Shoot about Joseph, I said I was going to go to England and kick the shit out of him, and I'm still considering doing that, to be honest with you. Realize I can't block him on Twitter because it would really screw up a bunch of DMs that I'm in with him. So, yeah, I'm kind of defenseless.
I think you're a coward if you won't block him then. At least mute him.
Opposite. I'm kind of defenseless. Good Lord, man.
It is sad, though. Pour one out for the World Wrestling Federation. If you want to, or don't. I mean,
In all seriousness, if you watch this show, you made it through an hour and 53 minutes, and you took anything we said seriously over the last hour, God bless, man. Please do not get offended at something as funny as Ramon Reigns. That's actually one of the funniest things I've ever heard on any show I've ever done. The visual of a guy wearing man. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's as good as it gets. So
that's great.
Have fun with this stuff. If you're very gotten to this evening, then that's okay. Just grin wide the next time they win, which they do probably a lot. Listen, man, I've seen it. I was there when they announced the Fox deal, and people were in the streets, claiming triumph at the broadcasting rights of the WWF. Yeah. Have fun with whatever side you're on, whatever show you like. The truth is, the tribalism isn't going anywhere. And as long as you aren't being actively aggressive, angry, disrespectful to other people, you can actually have fun with the tribalism.
Mm-hmm.
I only watch one side of the show at this point because I don't like the other side's shows very much. And you know what, man? I'm going to just have fun with these bullshit pissing contest that these two billionaires are having. It ain't, it doesn't have to be any deeper than that. You can have fun with it. It's pro wrestling. It's an escape. If it ruins wrestling for you, you probably aren't enjoying the wrestling you're watching too much anyway. Let's be real. Just have fun with it. All hell.
There you go. O'Neal, say bye to everybody.
Bye, everybody.